Alright guys, thanks for joining our second ever saltwater live stream. It'll give people a little bit more time to come in here. You're probably hearing quite a bit of noise in the background as we're still closing up, have a few customers in the store. Okay, I am actually going to go get the food and I'm going to feed the big predators in the fowler tank here. While I'm feeding, I don't think you'll be able to hear me very well since I'm not mic'd. I'm going to feed these guys. You can appreciate George, our puffer fish. I guess he gets very excited. I actually don't even have the food out yet. You'll notice as soon as I come around that corner with the food there, he's going to see me. He's a Stars and Stripes puffer, and he has amazing eyesight. Okay, I'll be right back. Yeah. He's not as excited as he usually is. Bye, Amanda. Bye, guys. Have a good night. Good job today. Our staff is just leaving for the day. Some of them, not all of them. Obviously, I'm still here too. So George is getting clams on the half shell. He needs clams in order to wear down that beak of his. Sometimes he's so excited he's spilling water over the side of the glass. Today, he's getting fed late. I think he's kind of sleepy. Also, he's probably annoyed that I waited to feed him for so long. The grouper just ate a whole silver side. I'll give him a little bit, see if the eel comes out. So I want to talk today about fowler tanks, which is fish only with live rock. Oh, hi Nate. Hey Ross. Thanks for joining. This tank is one of our most popular tanks in the store, probably with the top ones obviously being our big discus tank and then Julius, our blood parrot cichlid. Oh, hold on. Ziggy, the eel, he needs a clam. But then everyone tends to love this tank. In fact, I do have a lot of people that ask me, can I have exactly this? Like, I want to make this tank in my house. And the answer is yes, you can. But I want to talk about some things to consider for these animals long term. I love George, our big Stars and Stripes puffer. I love Ziggy, our zebra eel. Our big panther grouper is actually still a baby. Oh, Ziggy needs another clam. He's so well trained to come up to the top for his food. Our panther grouper is actually a very calm grouper, partly because he started when he was such a itty bitty baby in here, got used to everybody, got used to his tank mates. There was no other super aggressive fish in here at the time. Obviously puffers can be aggressive, but when there's no other puffer fish or super big fish they're competing with, they tend to be pretty chill. All right, Ziggy gets one more. Missed it. George, you can have one more too. All right, I'll actually pick up the camera and we'll get a close-up shot of this guy. So as I was saying, our panther grouper, his name is Brett, is pretty calm because he was put in here as a baby. That is usually the best way to add groupers. Now, when they are small, they do not need this big of a tank, but they get big quickly. This is a 210 gallon. It's a 210 gallon custom, so it's not as long as a normal 210. Actually, a longer 210 would be better for them because they would have more lateral swimming space side to side. Buddy, you got enough food. He's a very fat zebra eel. This is kind of educational, Joel. Hi, Heather. Just because I get so many questions about these guys. Everybody loves the pufferfish. One thing to consider with the puffers is, first of all, their diet. I just fed him a lot of clams on the half shell. He gets silver sides. He will get squid, whitefish, basically the LRS chunky food. But those clams are key. If that beak gets overgrown, we can trim it. However, if it gets so overgrown that his mouth is stuck open and he can't eat, at times they'll get lockjaw just from that, and even filing the teeth down isn't enough to save them. Filing the teeth down is so stressful, I never really want to put him through that, so we just make sure his beak gets worn down naturally. The other thing to consider is a lot of people feed krill, especially as babies. We don't have any porcupine puffers out at the moment. I do have a baby George. I do have a baby porcupine puffer, or sorry, a baby stars and stripes puffer. He's still pretty big. Actually, George is technically a baby as well. He's gonna get a lot bigger than that. He's gonna need bigger than our 210 gallon tank. Anyway, as I was saying, the stars and stripes are not usually as picky with the food, but the porcupines are. They tend to go on hunger strikes, and people will feed them krill. Krill is the candy. It's basically the fish crack. They love krill. Krill has zero nutritional value. So if they get stuck on krill and that is all they eat, they can actually get lockjaw, not because their beaks are overgrown, but that tends to coincide with it, but because of a nutritional deficit. So it's really important to not feed your puffers krill all the time. If you have a really good eater and you just want to feed krill occasionally as a treat and you're not worried about him getting stuck or her getting stuck on krill, then it's fine. They are one of my favorite saltwater fish, and I 100% say they're worth it, but you just gotta make sure you're prepared for their diet, and then also prepared for, after they eat, their waste that comes out afterward. They make a lot of waste. Puffers make a lot of waste. Groupers make a lot of waste. Eels make a lot of waste. And then we have some sensitive fish in here. I mean, these guys are sensitive too. But then we have some fish in here that really can't tolerate high nitrates. We have an angel, which is also not a reef-safe angel. We have our regal in here. We have an emperor in here. Both of these are notorious coral eaters. We have our tangs. Those are not coral eaters. They'd be fine. We have a raccoon butterfly, also notorious coral eater, and a sensitive fish. We need to keep nitrates pretty low in this tank. And with the amount of feeding these guys get and how big they currently are, Ross and I are at the point of doing 50% water changes on this tank twice a week. Now I tell people that because that is not realistic for most people in the home aquarium. Based on how much you spend on your saltwater, you can calculate that out. It's a lot of money. It's way more than just the initial cost of the fish. Also, these fish will live 20 to 30 years. That's a lot of buying saltwater over time, or buying salt. Joel, tetanus does cause lockjaw in people, yes. So are they worth it? Yes. Can you take care of them? Yes. Can you have them in the home aquarium? Yes. But maybe not as heavily stocked as we have them. And just prepare, you're gonna get a really, really big tank. And maybe hook that up to a reef tank or a giant macroalgae tank. Just a refugium with some mackerel in the sump isn't gonna be enough. But have a plan for that waste export, that nutrient export. I say all this just because I don't want people then to feel like, oh man, I have this fish and I don't feel like I can take care of it. Well, you totally can. It just takes a little bit more preparation. I say that as someone who has a porcupine puffer. He is a youngster right now. He is in a 210-gallon tank. And I always want to add more fish, but then I stop and go, nope, can't. I mean, it's pretty well stocked right now, but it's not nearly as heavily stocked as ours here, because I know realistically I will not be able to or want to do that amount of water change on it. I also am eventually going to hook it up to, I don't know, my husband needs to help me out with this one, probably a 100-gallon stock tank for a sump. That's going to be mangroves and macroalgae, but that's my own home project. But I have a big plan for nutrient export on that as those guys get bigger. So what do we have for fowler fish? This guy, which Joel, you keep pointing out week after week. Someone come get this clown trigger. I know he's gonna be a menace when he's older. I know he's gonna be mean. But if you get that right there, you could pair him up for life with, honestly, this Queen Formosa wrasse. These guys are all in here for a reason together because they could stay together. She's gonna be huge. Foxface? Sure, that can stay with it. The Miniatus grouper, that's gonna hide because he's camera shy and doesn't like to see people. He only likes to see the chunky food I throw in for him. Yeah, he would be perfect for that tank. This Tanetti tang is gonna get big and beautiful and mean. That'll be great. Joel, I missed when you said your comment. I don't know who's the poor guy. My husband for having to set up my giant sump. Probably my husband. He is such a good sport. You could do in that tank a really big, honestly, I'd probably do one of the full-size like Volatin lions. I would love a Volatin lionfish in my fowler tank, but I won't because that's another big, heavy waste producer, and I'm going to prioritize my porcupine puffer. And like I said, I don't want to have to do that big of a water change twice a week. Okay, back on the side of Reef Safe, sorry, my ADHD is showing. We got this pair of Bangais in. They are big and they look great. This is the male. Has a bigger jaw, more of like a bulldog, like giant jewels, because they're mouth brooders. And then a longer fin, that front dorsal fin, and the second dorsal fin. And then this is the female. It's so difficult to tell, but she does have a smaller mouth and then smaller fins. Oh, the clown trigger's a poor guy because he's still here. I mean, he's in a big tank right now. 100-gallon is more than enough space for him right now. He's fed well. He's got good tank mates. He's got great filtration and good water changes. He's okay right now. Oh, Joel. I'm gonna tell her you said that next time you guys come in. Your wife is lovely. Majority of our fish are are picked for reef tanks. They are reef safe because that's where the hobby's at right now. Everyone wants reefs. We got this itty bitty little hippotang. The wrasse went to bed. I'm looking for the wrasse in there. Those tanks are probably better, but I haven't removed them off a fold yet. I'm just waiting for their immune systems to get back up and to make sure it is safe. I'm so nervous. I don't want to send anyone home with a fish that has some viral infection that I can't figure out what it is. Still got this trigger. I will say this one is reef safe with caution. A lot of people put blue jaw triggers in reef aquariums and they are fine. Your cleanup crew might not be so fine. They won't eat all your cleanup crew, but they'll definitely do a number on it. Look at that cleaner wrasse. The cleaner's wrasse is like, do you have anything on you? Can I eat anything? No? Okay. Still got these big guys. And the nakeds. I know the naked clownfish aren't everyone's cup of tea. Some people just really love those stripes, but I like them. They're just different. I like that bright pop of orange. This guy might have a home in one of our Realms client tanks. However, they haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. So See what I did there? Anyway, this is our Humu Humu trigger, also known as the Picasso trigger. However, he is still technically up for grabs, so if you've been debating this guy, I would buy him. Some of the lemon damsels went home this week, but we still have a good group of them. Why? How are you still here? You are so friendly. Still got the hawkfish. Look at him. He's like, take me home. Sorry, buddy. Got these nice chromis yet, and a scopus tang. That's it for this big tank. This big tank has had a lot of fishies go home recently. Same with this tank, but we still have the big rabbit fish. They may not be as bright and striking as the fox-face rabbit fish, but all these bright gold spots are really pretty. Yeah, you blow bubbles. All rabbit fish will blow bubbles at the top of the tank. I honestly don't know why, but they do. The lunar wrasse is out and about showing off. No new corals this week. We do have hopefully some exciting ones to show you next week. We put in an order this weekend. If there's anything in particular you guys want to see or ask about, let me know. I forgot to highlight this last week. Oops, wrong way. We have this green bubble tip anemone hanging out in here. Our ganies are looking good. So many of them are really fluffy. Come get your ganies or your flower pots. This is very picked over. Now it's just the baby little bubble tips. They will get big. There are some nice bubble tips in here. We got 2 of the watermelons yet. Those actually come from the Milwaukee County Zoo. They don't have them on display, but they have a big bubble tip tank in the back, and we work with them and we get some of their bubble tips. And then there's a rainbow hiding right below that watermelon there. That's from a local trade-in. Hi, Roger. Roger's like, how dare you say another fox face is, or another rabbit fish is gorgeous. Look at me. Yeah. One of these days, you're actually going to get my camera probably covered in a little bit of water. Thank goodness for this lip right here. Alright, other things I want to highlight. Inverts. I kind of skipped over them last week. We have baby chestnut cowrie snails. Cowrie snails are just destroyers of algae. Oh, Galaxia. Yes, sorry. Moving away from the inverts. Right here, actually. I'm right next to them. Number 21. We have all these Galaxias. Actually, it is toward the end of the night after feeding time, so a lot of them have their sweeper tentacles out. Galaxia have a really, really strong sting. They need to stay away from other corals. In fact, I think that chalice over there is probably getting stung from these ones. But there is a purple one, and there are 2 that are like purple and green. I forget the name of them. But those are some fancier Galaxia frags from eye-catching corals. Let's see. Where are they on here? Ah, there we go. Galaxia B. $50, because there's some of the fancier morphs, not just like the basic green. Okay, back to these guys. If you have hair algae, this is another answer for you. These guys, I will say big, giant chestnut cowries. So right now they're like 1 inch long. When they start getting like a good 3-4 inches, sometimes there's not enough algae in the tank, so they can be known to actually then eat corals, or potentially like these guys, your feather dusters. So I say reef safe with caution, but the little ones, I would definitely lean more toward just saying reef safe, and then just find a home for them elsewhere when they get big. There's some, you can kind of see their shiny shells. Cowrie snails have this like film that they put over their shells, and it's so pretty. You will easily be able to find a home or trade them in once they are big. There's a tiger cowrie somewhere in here. As adults, tiger cowries are reef safe, but they can't get in all the little nooks and crannies and eat all the hair algae. But we have a big tiger cowrie. This is not for sale. This is our cleanup crew, one of our cleanup crew for our big coral table, because there's a lot of food in here for him. This one is obviously reef safe, or I wouldn't put it in this giant coral buffet. But if I had a little tank, or I guess even a big tank with hair algae all up in my rocks and all the little crevices, these would be my go-to right now, along with pitho crabs. We got a couple left. I actually sold quite a few of them today. Look at him. They were being spicy. They did not want to let go of this grate earlier for me today. And this big female keeps hiding behind the fire shrimp tag. Oh, there's two right there. Hey, buddies. We do have a lone fire shrimp. We also have a pair of fire shrimp over here. Got a coral banded shrimp. Cara, the Galaxias, they want lower light. Honestly, most of the time people just put them right down in their sand bed. I have one in my tank that's just down in my sand bed. It makes its own little island then away from all the others. You can put it on its own rock as well to spread out. I just let mine sit in the sand and grow outward, and it makes this like little mound in your sand that's just covered in those beautiful green polyps. They can handle high flow. They're definitely in some pretty high flow in here right now. But they can also tolerate medium to lower flow. They're a really resilient coral as long as you don't bake them under light. Got some peppermint shrimp. Our peppermint, I only get the peppermint shrimps that come out of the American waters. So if you get them out of the American waters like the Gulf of Mexico, there's a lot more aptasia and such. They are natural aptasia eaters then, where the ones that come out of the Indo-Pacific region are just kind of likely to eat aptasia. So we're pretty picky about sourcing those guys. If a wholesaler doesn't say where they got them from, we don't order them. Got a bunch of hermits, got a bunch of seraph snails. Seraph snails will be on your glass eating algae, but they'll also be down in your sand. Good sand cleaners. Astrea snails. We also have a whole lot of strawberry conchs, also great sand cleaners. And these cute little captive red jewel urchins. So cute. Oh, we got another fire shrimp. Forgot about you. That's a real big one. We have some heart-tooth cocoa worms. Two itty-bitty ones. They're moved. Someone must have knocked them over. Or that urchin. The urchin might have knocked them over earlier. It's nice that they have the hard tube. That means the urchins can't eat away at them, which is why I can have urchins in with these guys. Also, all the Nasaria snails are in there. Whole bunch of emerald crabs. Whole bunch of bumblebee snails. We have some Halloween hermits. Some more pincushions. Oh, and the banded serpent stars are coming out, or brittle stars. And last but not least, the thing I'm most excited about, I kind of showed them a little bit with the feather dusters. We have dove snails. Try to get the camera showing it. Okay, Joel, I'll get to the jewel urchin in a bit, but I gotta talk about the dove snails. Dove snails are great algae eaters, but they don't eat your fancy macroalgae. So if you have a macroalgae tank, you should get these guys as your cleanup crew. Also, they're just pretty. I like their little stripes. And they are more likely to actually breed in captivity, so you might be able to breed them and then have more for yourself or trade them in. Also, another thing that's really easy to breed in captivity, but they don't always survive, I have one right here, peppermint shrimp. We have baby shrimp all over our glass. There's also amphipods, but if you're like, that amphipod looks like a shrimp, it is. We have those guys, but they never get to adulthood in our tanks. We don't have enough things for them in here. Okay, baby jewel urchins, they stay smaller. They're good for small tanks, so like Joel, that would be a good one for your tank once it's done swinging. It's not good for a tank that's still swinging all over the place, just because your tank's kind of new. Urchins need very stable water conditions. But once the small tanks are stable, they are a great option for it. Got this cute black clown pair. A baby Bangai. I keep the baby Bangais separate because they're hard to sex at that age and they will kill each other off if they're not a pair. So for their safety, we just keep them separate. There's a dotty back in there. That's a black neon dotty back. There's no one else really new over here. So I'm going to end on the last exciting note of the night. Copepods! We have copepods back in stock. We have a lot of copepods back in stock. So we have the 16-ounce bottle and the 8-ounce bottle. They are in there. They are moving. I know some people like hold them up to the light and they're like, I don't see them. Wait, I see a couple. We can put them on our cell phone lights and show you. However, there's 5 species in here. And most of those species are so small, you really need to put them under a microscope until they get really big. But these guys were recently added to the bottles. They're still young copepods. Really, the only ones you're going to see well are the tigerpods. They're just naturally a larger species. I promise you they're in there. At JJ's Reef, they've strained them for me and shown me. Actually, I have a video if anyone comes in and really needs to see it. They've shown me the culture strained and where you can just see them moving. And we've added them to a lot of our tanks, let them culture, and then we're able to see them very well. Ask Ross. Ross, your glass is teeming with them, and he's only ever added JJ Reef's copepods. He did that on purpose. There was no other brands added so that we could, with confidence, say this brand has them. I don't want to sell you guys junk. I'm not going to sell you dead stuff or stuff that doesn't exist, because I want your tanks to succeed. And then we also have their live Phyto. Oh, I'm gonna mess up the scientific name. Some people have been asking the scientific name of this. It's not the Tetraselmis. Tetraselmis is more yellow and not as reef or as shelf stable. It's the Chlora. I forget the second part of the name. That one, the green one, the Chlora one, because it's green like chlorophyll. I know there's other green phytoplankton, but that one. It is in the fridge. Once phytoplankton, live phytoplankton I should say, is in the fridge, then it needs to stay in the fridge until it goes in your tank. If it's straight from the culture and it's on the counter, because sometimes we will have it on the counter, it can stay there because it hasn't been chilled yet. Some people are like, this needs to go in the fridge. No, it's fine. I have it on the counter under a light sometimes, but when I get it and it's already been chilled, then it goes in the fridge. It also needs to be shaken every day. If you buy a bottle and you don't use it all at once, make sure you're shaking it every day. It settles out and then the phytoplankton will start dying as it's all shaded at the bottom. Alright, that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for dealing with my ADHD as, you know, I bounce all over the place with topics here. And if you want to talk more about setting up a fowler tank and what that takes and what you can start with versus like the end-all big tank you should, you know, save up for in the future, we can help you plan that out. They are awesome. They're worth it. And they're gorgeous. Right, Miko? That's Miko. We'll end there. Bye, guys.